Borderlands 4 is coming in less than a month, and we've seen a lot of the game this year. So today, I thought, I'm going to talk about how I feel about Borderlands 4 and upload it to YouTube. But in order to talk about how I feel about Borderlands 4, I had to ask myself the question, will Borderlands 4 save this beloved franchise? That's what I'm going to try to figure out in today's video. Borderlands has been around for almost 2 decades, and most people can agree it defined the looter shooter genre. But after the mixed reception of Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands, fans have been asking if the series is even still worth playing. Borderlands 3 sold well, but it turned a lot of people away from the Borderlands name. The gameplay in 3 was the best of the franchise in my opinion, but the story was god-awful, and some fans just gave up on Borderlands. Understandably so. Borderlands 4 looks like a full reboot of the formula. We're on a brand new planet called Kairos. It's a fully open world, which is brand new for a Borderlands game. Granted, there is, kind of open world-esque things in Borderlands 3, but Kairos is basically the main part of this game, so that's why I'm calling it an open world. But I do hope we get interstellar travel back in this game because I loved it in Borderlands 3. However, if they do decide to do this, I hope they add more biomes to each world, since some places just felt dull. I'm looking at you, Eden 6. It doesn't look like we will, but it'd be cool to see. Traversal is actually a huge focus in this game. We can finally swim in a Borderlands game. You can dash, which can be used for dodging enemy fire. There's a double jump, a grapple, and even gliding. The grapple can be used for damaging enemies and getting past or up obstacles, which is pretty neat. I haven't really seen much of the gliding aspect, but I mean, it's gliding. What else do you want? It's gliding, okay? There's new vehicles that you can now summon anywhere, which is not something that we were asking for, but I'm glad we got. We got new health stims and throwing knives, which honestly I'm okay with this. It probably won't affect the gameplay as much as Gearbox wants it to, but it's still cool to see. They even replaced the mini-map with a compass-based HUD. I'm not really interested in the compass, since it looks like it clutters a lot and makes everything overlap at times. And while Echo 4 being able to guide you everywhere is a nice touch, I don't want to stare at the floor when I'm playing, and I know that's a really dumb nitpick, but when I went over some of the FanFest gameplay footage, 20% of the time, the Echo 4 would just guide you into a wall, so, I mean, that sucks. But with how open Gearbox is being about this game, I'm sure with enough feedback from the community, they might make the compass optional. I've also seen a bunch of really small problems with this game. For example, the amount of time it takes to respawn. I saw that it might be like 20 seconds or so. Just watch this and tell me it isn't long. I don't know whose idea it was over at Gearbox to do this, but it's too long. It's too long. There's also no auto sell option in this game, which honestly I'm surprised because I'm pretty sure we had it on launch in Borderlands 3. But again, very small problem for me to even cover because they might get changed before launch. Now let's talk Vault Hunters. We've got 4 brand new characters, and honestly this might be the most varied cast the series has ever had. We've got Vex, the Siren. She's a darker, more serious take on the classic Siren archetype. She can summon spectral ghosts of herself that work as extra teammates. What they do can vary depending on the skills you put in, but from what we've seen, they can wield scythes or the weapon you're holding, which is pretty neat. She has a cat hybrid thing. I really have no clue what it is, but it has 4 eyes, and it's actually pretty cute. Gearbox said designing her was development hell. That sounds very promising. We've got Rafa, my favorite so far. I like Vex, she's cool. But Rafa, I mean, I love this guy, dude. The trailer that they showed for him, his short was actually really nice.
Come quietly, DF-191.
I told you, it's Rafa.
You want him dead?
God, you just can't tell me that isn't cool. This is who I'm picking first, 1000%. He's a melee tank with a pop fist lance. I don't know if that's how you say it. Forgive me if I'm butchering that. He has deployable Peacebreaker turrets and brutal area control. He's basically like Axon, Zane, and Zero all in one, while still having his own unique abilities, which is awesome. Then we have these next 2 that aren't really talked about as much, but it's probably because as of recording this video, we have no trailers for either of these 2. For Amon, we don't have that much information besides some gameplay from a Chinese content creator by the name of Captain YG, which I think it's awesome that he could get us this footage, but I will not be showing this because the gameplay is kind of ass. But if you want to see it regardless, check out EpicNNG's video on it after this video. Anyways, Amon the Forge Knight. He's a calm warrior poet type with serious elemental firepower. He throws elemental axes and can slam down a massive fire AoE. He also gets a shield that absorbs damage and blasts it back as a whip, and a firewall for defense. For Harlow, we really know nothing besides the stuff we've seen in trailers, but even then, it isn't much. Harlow, the Gravatar, she can lift enemies with telekinesis, slam them down, entangle groups with unstable energy blast, and drop mines that trap enemies in place. Every Vault Hunter brings something new to the table, and all of them look awesome. For weaponry, they've introduced 3 new manufacturers, one called the Order. They look like weapons that focus on precise burst fire shots. The longer you hold the trigger, the more powerful the burst, assuming you have the ammo to back it up. The second one is from a faction called Ripper. Fully automatic weapons that also have a charge up, but it seems like its fire rates will be insane. Then we have Daedalus. So far they seem like rifles only, but I mean that probably won't change since you can change the ammo type on the fly, which is a first for Borderlands. Plus, there's the aforementioned Echo 4, which is just a floating drone companion. It hacks terminals, finds loot, marks objectives, and adds a little personality along the way. Borderlands 4 is fully crossplay at launch, something that we didn't have the pleasure of seeing on Borderlands 3's launch, so that's a step up. PC, PS5, Xbox, all on September 12th, and even the Switch 2 later in October. I'm actually really curious to see how Borderlands 4 will hold up on the Switch. As for the story of the game, we don't really know much, but it looks like the Vault Hunter's crash lands 6 years after Elpis was teleported to the planet's atmosphere. The arrival of Elpis disrupted the control of the Timekeeper, a tyrannic ruler who controls the planet using cybernetic implants called bolts, and the story involves a rebellion against the Timekeeper, led by the Crimson Resistance. Which sounds way better than what we got in Borderlands 3, so that's refreshing to see. Swear to God, if I get any fucking Dr. Seuss comments, I'm gonna fuck. From what I've seen in the live streams from the fan fest, there is lots of humor that Borderlands 2 fans will love, and I absolutely can't wait to see that, because in my opinion, humor is a big factor when it comes to the Borderlands games. So I'm sure we will see something much better than Borderlands 3's humor. We also saw that launchers will not be a normal weapon that you can use. It's gonna be a little more realistic in the sense that holding a rocket launcher would make you slower. So that is something to note, but ultimately not that big of a deal. But not everything's perfect. There's no photo mode at launch, which in my opinion doesn't really matter, because they're probably going to bring it in an update anyway. But that might turn off a small percentage of people. One thing I do want to touch up on is your mom. My fault. The inventory UI in this game, it's different than anything we've seen, and yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. It's not a deal breaker, but it feels more cluttered than it needs to be. From what it looks like, there's a lot of layered tabs and visual noise, which I'm not really a big fan of. And the layout just doesn't feel as intuitive as it should, especially for a game that's all about loot management. To be clear, it's functional. You can still mark junk and compare stats quickly, and you can even sort by rarity or type. It's the same as every other Borderlands game. But visually, it's pretty messy. Because I mean, this looks great. And then we have freaky Uncle Bob over here. I don't know. This shit looks like ass. If you're the kind of player who spends a lot of time tweaking builds or juggling gear mid-mission, it's probably going to slow you down more than you'd like. But beyond that, everything else in the moment-to-moment gameplay feels perfect, especially the new movement mechanics, making exploration a lot smoother. So far, Borderlands 4 looks like more than a sequel. It's a reinvention of the franchise with new movement, new world, new quirks, but it still keeps the Borderlands feeling that made us fall in love with the franchise in the first place, and I'm all here for it. But the question is, will Borderlands 4 save the franchise? From what I've seen, it just might. Alright, I know that was cringe. I'm sorry, okay? I'm trying to build a fucking story here. I'm trying to be professional, so I'm sorry, okay? No, you know what? Fuck that!